Hi everybody, it's Monday again, if you can believe it. Time is flying by right now. There's a lot going on in the world of social media. I picked 3 topics again for this week that we can go over, just do a little bit of an overview. If you have more questions after I go through them, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you want to just send me a message, I'll reply later this week and can give you some insights on what's going on. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was what's being called an engagement recession. So we all know what a recession is in general, but specifically for social media engagement right now, there's some trends and people talking about how there's been a decline across the board in likes, comments, shares, etc. So if you've been experiencing a decline in your engagements on your social media accounts, you're not alone. It's just shifting algorithms, shifting platforms, features, and audience behavior, right? Especially as the seasons change and as people's consumer behavior shifts, that happens. So a couple ways you can combat that. Posting more frequently is helpful. Utilizing all the different features, making sure you're showing up on multiple platforms, all of that's good. And then I did want to say one way to help brands that you love, your friends that run small businesses or are content creators, is to go and comment on all their posts, like everything that you see, share it with a friend that it might benefit. But even just leaving a comment with a couple of emojis underneath a post from a brand that you care about or want to support is incredibly helpful. That really helps us get the content in front of more people. It's a positive interaction for the algorithm, and it's a small thing. It doesn't cost any money. It takes a few seconds, and it can really give a big boost to those people that you want to support. We're hoping to see some shifts in all the algorithms that will fix this recession a little bit with that engagement. And then also, nice segue into my second point, if we continue to see shifts away from TikTok, I do think that engagement on other platforms will increase. Another thing, sorry that I see in my notes here, is another way to help with engagement is to tailor your content to each platform. So instead of posting the same square graphic and the same caption on each platform at the same time, what I like to do for my clients is tailor it to that particular site. So certain types of content do better on each platform, certain things fit. So the square used to be the accepted size, but actually Facebook is doing more landscape right now, and you can use portrait on Instagram. So a couple of tweaks that you can make to each post to make them more engaging. So if you do have the followers overlap on each platform, they're seeing something a little different. Your call to action can differ based on how people behave on that platform, and that should help your engagement as well. So going back to TikTok, there was a bill that was passed by the House in the United States, the House of Representatives, to move forward with the ban on TikTok because of the potential security risks, the potential for disinformation and the Chinese government getting involved and putting out information, those sorts of things. So that has passed the House and it's moving on to the Senate. There's still a lot of shifts happening. Nothing's really been settled. It's just a move forward. They're still talking about investing, divesting, shifting ownership. And we don't know what will happen when it gets to the Senate. I said that last week, and then pretty much the next day they had made some changes. So we'll see what happens this week, but we are monitoring that. If you have any thoughts or questions about it, again, feel free to hop in the comments, send me a message. If you read any articles and you want to discuss them, I'm happy to do that as well. I am monitoring that situation. I will say that the same advice that I gave last week stands. Keep doing what you're doing if you're active on TikTok until we know what's going to happen. You can still post there and engage with the people there, but you may want to encourage them to connect with you in multiple other places, and B, make sure that you're backing up your content that goes out on TikTok. So if you're putting out videos, download them to your phone before you publish them. So you hit the little arrow and download it to your device. And that way, if you want to post it elsewhere, you can. And I do recommend that you repurpose what's going out to Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Ideally, you want to do it before that watermark is added, so before you publish. But then you can get the most out of the work that you're putting into your content. And if for some reason we do lose access to TikTok, you don't lose access to all that work that you did and all that content that you already made. So those are my recommendations and updates for the TikTok ban. The third thing I want to talk about is not as popular right now. People aren't talking about it as much, but I did want to put it on everyone's radar. There's a new trend or like a new service that's coming out of all of this fun social media influencing and content creation, where in the past, a PR agency used to manage press and have a contact list for people to send articles, press releases, that sort of thing too. With the shift to social media being a primary source of news, a search engine for people, what we're seeing is basically agents of influencers. So instead of a PR agency working with Channel 7 News, they're now working with people that have thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, and connecting them with businesses to create content and promote specific brands. So it's interesting. It's cool to see this shift. It is a little bit of a wild west out there right now. Influencer partnerships, they've only been around for really a few years. They've only been trendy in the last few years. So it's interesting to see how that's going. And you do, I think it's good to be curious, but also cautious. So if you do consider working with large influencers, definitely make sure that you establish some goals and ground rules at the outset, whether you're working with this influencer, PR agent, or even the influencers directly. So understanding what deliverables are included, what your goals are, what your budget is, and making sure that the influencers that you're partnering with, either by reaching out to them or by being matched through this agency, align with your brand and your audience, right? If you primarily speak to children and families, then somebody that primarily features like bars and nightlife is probably not a great match for you, and vice versa, right? So do your research, make sure that your audience is aligned there, and then being clear about what's included, what are you looking to get out of the partnership, just like you would with any other advertising spend or initiative like that. So to recap, we covered 3 things. We've got the engagement recession, so a decline across the board in how people are interacting with social media content. And we talked about a couple of ways you can combat that, and also to help other brands by liking and commenting and sharing their posts. We talked about updates with the TikTok ban. Again, we'll continue monitoring that situation, but definitely back up your content, duplicate, have those videos in multiple places just in case. And then also this fun thing with the PR agencies. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to jump into the comments, send me a message, reply to the video. I will share this after the fact, so even if you weren't able to tune in live, it'll be out there for the next week, and then I'll hop back on Monday, and we'll get to talk about if there's any shifts with TikTok, and then some other trends or updates. If there's a topic that you'd like me to cover, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to include that in my little write-up for the week before I jump on here. So if there's anything you want to know about or things that you've been noticing and you have questions about, I'm happy to include that in an upcoming live video. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Happy spring starts tomorrow, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much.